Bienvenidos, mi gente. Don't worry, I don't know enough Spanish to do the whole broadcast in Spanish, but I do want to return to my true voice. I noticed last time I reverted into my sarcastic impression of Joe Fingas. And I want you to know, while it started out to be on purpose, it ended up just becoming a habit. But I have turned over a new leaf. And today, before we start talking about St. Daniel of the parking lot, the patron saint of trivial things, I wish to talk about some things that most people think are more serious. I do want to take time out to remember Afghanistan, the soldiers who served there, the people who still live there. Remember them and place them in your hearts, please. If not, I will place them in my heart, and I will think of them, and I will think thoughts of healing for everyone involved. Then, of course, Hurricane Ida, and the people suffering now without power, and the people injured as a result. And from what I just read on Yahoo News, 4 people known to have lost their life. I do want to remember them also, because I've been getting comments thinking that this is a comedy broadcast, and it's not. It's serious. It's a serious broadcast. Also, I don't know, I can't remember the length of time that the statistics cover, but hate crimes have increased, which is something St. Daniel can address, because anger and hate flares up whenever there's parking lot situations. And the worst in people come up when folks are starting to argue over trivial things, tantamount to hate crimes. And they've gone up in this country, perhaps across the world, unacceptable to me. The not quite Reverend Joseph Fingersmith. And of course, no matter what you think, what your position is about the government's approach to dealing with COVID, the fact of the matter is there are people still getting sick, and there are people still dying from this disease, no matter their opinion, no matter their vaccination status, no matter whether or not they wear a mask. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to remember and to think well of them and to promote their healing and their return and restoration to full functioning and good health. All right, now, somebody out here in the rain, in the wind, in the inability to navigate the road is attempting to pull over into a parking lot and find some way to protect their car and their bodies from other cars and other bodies. So they are trying to find some type of parking spot. We're going to think of them, and I hope that their motive is clear. It turns out they are going to their mother's house to check on her status because her mother has not responded to a phone call. And as soon as the storm clears, they will go to their mother's house. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. Is you is or is you not St. Daniel of the parking lot? S.P. lot. S.P. lot. S.P. lot. S.P. lot. St. Daniel has just informed me that that person has found safe and proper parking during the time of the downpour. And as soon as the sky clears, they will be cleared to find out as to the welfare and status of their mother. Trivial? I think not. Saint Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. Is or is you not? Saint Daniel of the parking lot. And how do we find him? We find him by taking our ego and putting it in the trunk with the other bodies. We also find him by walking with spirits. I walk with spirits, they take my hand as we get near it, the promised land. My brothers, my sisters, we are not alone. I walk with spirits, take me home. I walk with spirits, they have my ear. They speak, I hear it, the message clear. Don't cry for a family, don't cry for self. The world we know, there is something else. Yeah, 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 yeah. I walk with spirits, they take me home. Saint Daniel is such a spirit, and he walked with spirits. When Saint Daniel was a young man, a young boy, he loved to laugh and play, and the day that he looked forward most to was off-school Saturday. That was the day when his favorite aunt, they called her, the family called her Bunny. Aunt, they're from Massachusetts, so I need to use the vernacular, Aunt Bunny. Aunt Bunny would come over on Saturday and take St. Daniel and his older brother Joey. He'd take them out and take them to stores and take them to parks and buy them things and get them away from the house, which, sad to say, the house was not always a happy place to be. But Aunt Bunny, a.k.a. Gladys Lillian Murphy, would come and rescue them for at least a morning and an afternoon. And this is when St. Daniel first became aware of his power to move heaven and earth, to transcend physics, space and time, and gravity or whatever, because I'm a reverend, and reverends are not always associated or knowledgeable about science. Good thing for me, because otherwise, how could I believe that St. Daniel can do this? But St. Daniel has been known to move things, and he can shape-shift the earth. But he didn't always know he could do it. So this is why, I'm going to tell you why. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, I'm going to throw out my smidgen of Espanol just so I could practice it in front of 3 cameras, which I adore. I adore my cameras here. I adore them. And I'm going to practice Espanol sometimes. But right now I'm going to tell you that one of the reasons in our church it's so important that you be willing to refrain from the parking spot in order to allow someone else to have that coveted spot. The reason is because this is how, and this is the reason Daniel became a saint. He found his power to move heaven and earth, shape, shift, time, and material, physical matter into an extra parking space. And the reason he did it is because one time, I think in front of Costco or some California supermarket store type of warehouse store, his favorite Aunt Bunny, St. Daniel's favorite Aunt Bunny, was driving the parking lot looking for a convenient, close to the store parking spot. And all of a sudden, she started singing for the first time ever, St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. And she was singing to the top of her voice. She was singing for all the world to hear. She was singing especially so little Daniel in the back seat could hear her plea for a parking spot. And St. Daniel did not provide the parking spot the first weekend he heard the song, but he thought about it all week, and he prayed to the God that he understood to be God, to the power greater than himself, that he understood to be the power greater than himself, and he understood it was also a kind, benevolent power, and he prayed, please let me provide this parking spot for my Aunt Bunny. His Aunt Bunny did so many things for him. He wanted to do this one small thing for her. And since she stated his name, he knew that it was up to him to provide this service to his beloved aunt. See, I get switched into the aunt thing. It's a California thing. St. Daniel had problems with it all the time. But he made sure to correct himself in front of his Aunt Bunny. So the next time, it was about the 4th time, maybe the 3rd episode of going into the parking lot at Costco with his Aunt Bunny. She started singing at the top of her lungs again, St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me find a parking spot. St. Daniel of the parking lot, help me. And poof, it happened. All of a sudden, where there wasn't a parking spot before, it was there. And somehow or another, Daniel, the little boy, that would one day become Saint Daniel knew that he channeled this spiritual power to creating this parking spot for his aunt. And that's the only reason he wanted this power, is because his aunt believed in him and he wanted to return the favor. He believed in her. And that's what we do here. We believe. We believe in each other. We believe in each other. That's why we don't, with the exception of the PayPal, Jay Fuller or Joe Fingas donation. They all go to that man. He demands that we have to do this. He's in it for the money. He's in it for the money, not us. We want you to dig deep into your pocket, pull out your dollars, and give it to your neighbor. So your neighbor may give it to their neighbor. So their neighbor may give it to their neighbor. In this day and age when so many people need some help, I did not mean to be so altruistic today. I did not mean for it to be like this. I wanted to be a little more stupid, a little more funny, but I'm getting into it. We need to help each other. We need to help each other. We are people. We are people. I was going to say brothers and sisters, but I want to respect all of the genders. I want to respect everybody. We are brothers and sisters. We are he's. We are she's. We are they's. We are whatever our pronouns want us to be. But we are in this together. We are in this together. And that's what we have to do. We have to understand that this is together. Now, I have a little apprehension about this, but I tell you, I was moved by the hurricane. And I need to find something I wrote about the hurricane. I might have to take off my glasses. Sorry, those who prefer my glasses rather than my eyes. I don't know if I can play it. Try it. Rain may be falling down, but we were lucky again. Compared to our brothers and our sisters to the west, the sun might as well be shining. 16 years ago to the day, a storm almost big as Katrina. For the people of Mississippi, Louisiana, New Orleans, don't see how the world could be any meaner. The whole world crashing down upon you, praying that the levees hold. There ain't much more I can do right now if the truth be told. 2018, Michael to the east, once again so lucky not to have been crushed by the mighty beast. We were the target, but some kind of pressure increased. Oh, force Big Michael to head east. many bodies in pain, worn out souls in need of rest, storm clouds, no silver lining. One thing I know for certain, hard times are guaranteed, and as the water rises up to become a final, oh, what happened to me as the water rises up to become the final curtain? Nothing is guaranteed. I'm going to read from the Epistle of Donovan, chapter 1, verses 16 through 24. Knowing her fate, Atlantis sent out ships to all corners of the earth. On board were the 12, the poet, the physician, the farmer, the scientist, the magician, and the other so-called gods of our legends, though gods they were. And as the elders of our time choose to remain blind, let us rejoice, let us sing and dance and ring in the new. Let us hail Atlantis and sing way down below the ocean, where I wanna be. She will be way down below the ocean, yeah. Where I wanna be, she will be way down below the ocean. Where I wanna be, she may be way down below the ocean. Way down below the ocean, where I wanna be, she may be. Now remember, whether we wanna be there or not, we might end up there. I can't really see. The light is hurting my eyes, and I'm sorry that I failed in providing you with complete interpretation of the song, but at least the scripture's intact. Yes, I don't know about you. I'll accept it if we become Atlantis. I don't want it to happen though, 'cause I saw Waterworld and I would hate to have webbed feet, even though I wouldn't mind looking like Kevin Costner. But give me Fight Club any day. Brad Pitt, all right. Ed Norton, yeah. Let's one more time. We're down below the ocean, where I wanna be. There's plenty of parking down there below the ocean. I gotta look at the good side of things, where I wanna be. St. Daniel, help me. St. Daniel of the parking lot. You gotta help me. Gotta help me. Yeah. Stop the rain from falling down. I can't swim and I don't wanna drown. Way down below the ocean. As long as she'll be there, I wanna be. Man, I tell you what, I try to think of peaceful things. But I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was a podcast that is not necessarily a dating site, but they have a dating area of the podcast where people read love letters to people who are Patreon subscribers to the podcast, of which I am not. All my money goes to the proselytizing of the small, trivial miracles of the Church of St. Daniel of Parking Lot Saints. Of Parkin. That's how we say it, Parkin. Like Parkin. You spell it Parking, but you pronounce it Pockin. Parkin. We just parking. But anyway, that's what I'd use my money for. But anyway, they were reading this letter, and this letter said he was a nice man, but he said 15 times he is not a murderer. Now, I remember from 8th grade, Shakespeare English. Or it might not have been. It might have been. I don't even know. It wasn't Shakespeare, I don't think. Maybe it was. Oh, get thee to a nunnery, Shakespeare. Methinks she doth protest too much. Was that Shakespeare or Chaucer? I don't know. I'm getting mixed up. Somebody will correct me. Alas, there is something to correct. Correct me on this. Who was it, Chaucer or Shakespeare, that said, methinks she doth protest too much? I'm sure it's one of those. So you can tell me. And that way we'll get a comment on the YouTube channel. And that way we may get a subscription. We might get a thumbs down, but we might get a subscription. And maybe if I offered a love letters column or a dating site on this YouTube channel, maybe we'll get more subscriptions. But dating is out. Dating is out. You wouldn't want to, I don't know if you would or not, but love letters are out. Because what this person kept on saying after he said nice stuff about himself, 15 times, I am not a murderer. I am not a murderer. I am not a murderer. That's where the death protest too much stuff comes in. Whoever said it first? You tell me 15 times you're not a murderer, I'm going to be thinking you're a murderer. You know? I'm going to be thinking you're a murderer. You know, of course, my response to that letter when I heard it was, you just killed that, bro. You just killed that. You just killed that, bro. Man, I don't know what else I got to say except we got to do something about this. I don't want to hate. I want to love, you know? There's been some questions where I'm not going to respond because I had to get some doctrinal advice about some of the questions that were asked me. Somebody wrote in, and the person who gives me doctrinal advice is not a person, really. I don't know exact. It's like in between, in the ether. In the ether, we call it ether. Ether, okay? We spell it E-T-H-E-R, like ether, but we pronounce it ether, like E-T-H-A. H, you can put an A after. E-T-H-A-H. Etha. Etha, you can pronounce it that way. Or etha. Etha, I prefer the etha. And you know, I'm losing my natural inclination to speak this way as I get excited I've noticed that. But one of the letters says, "Dear not quite right," that's me. "Dear not quite right, Reverend Fingas Smith, what is the Church of St. Daniel of Parking Lot Saints' position on premarital sex?" I can't tell you right now because otherwise it'll just be my opinion and probably my subjective position on premarital sex. So I am taking that up, and next week I will present it to you as the Church of St. Daniel of Parking Lot Saints' position on premarital sex. And then some of the other questions, which I can answer. What is the position? Oh, doctor. This person must know. They must have listened to the podcast when I mentioned that. And I do have the proof, and I'll present that if anybody asks, that I am a doctor of divinity, even though there's nothing divine about me, even though I don't know much about divinity, even though St. Daniel of the Parking Lot does not claim to be divine. He's more like a emaciated Hercules, a demigod maybe, a semi-god, of course, Maybe not even godlike at all, I don't know, but he's up there as a spirit. That's why I walk with that spirit. I walk with the spirit of St. Daniel's. But they call me Dr. Fingas Smith. And they asked what my position is. Oh, no, that is not what they asked. It's Dr. Fingas Smith. Since you are a reverend, and since you have mentioned that St. Daniel of the Parking Lot, while he was alive, had some conservative tendencies, what is the church's position on transgender people, non-binary people? Are you transphobic? Our position, I can tell you, is we accept everybody, everyone. It does not matter what their gender identity is. It does not matter what they call themselves, cis, non-binary, trans. That doesn't matter. We accept everybody. You want to be called sir? We'll call you sir. You want to be called her? We'll call you her. You want to be called cur? We'll call you cur. Whatever your pronoun, just let us know. We will respect it. And if we make a mistake, it will be a mistake. There is no maliciousness here. We accept everybody. And even if I sound malicious, I'm just joking. If I say something out of line, it was just a joke. I might say, where's your sense of humor? Where's your sense of humor? Did you lose that? Did you put that in the donation basket? Your sense of humor? I will light a candle for you. And, we will have some candles available for donation if you want to donate, even though we'll give it to you for free, too. We'll send you the candles for free. We sell Joe Fingas shirts, and I don't have any up here because Joe Fingas being kind of stingy, giving me the shirts to display. He wants me to pay for them first. Who you need to watch out for is Joe Fingas. Joe Fingas will say he will respect your identity, and then he talks about you behind your back. Yes, he does. He does that. As sure as I have Arkansas crystals in my bedroom, which I do. I have a gemstone in my pocket, and I'm happy to see you, too, same time. I don't know. I think... I'm going to look at my notes. No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you about some special guests we're going to have in a month or so. One's going to be Nick Flagstar. A little known episode in Nick's life is that he was a session player in Bakersfield with St. Daniel of the parking lot before he was St. Daniel, when everyone knew him as Spud or Dan Fuller. He was a bass player, played in the recording studios of Buck Owens. He met Buck Owens, played with Buck Owens a little bit, met Merle Haggard. I don't know for sure. I'm investigating whether or not he played with him. He played with a band that charted on the country charts, and the Moosehead Band that toured nationally, was talking about international touring, and then because of saintly responsibilities, he had to quit the band. But he had some adventures with Nick Flagstar, and in 3-4 weeks, Nick is going to arrange it so he can be on the podcast with us. It'd be very special. It'd be a very special occasion. I want to announce that. And we have some other surprise guests that will be coming, and I promise you, I will get my natural voice down pat. I mean, it's not like it's like a person from Alabama or Mississippi goes into broadcasting school and all of a sudden tries to eliminate any hint that they were ever from Alabama or Mississippi, And I came in with a natural preacher's voice, and then I started talking to Joe Fingas, and somehow or another, he cast his spell on me, and now I'm reverting to not a nondescript voice, but a Joe Fingas voice, which I don't want to have. I want to get back to my bad imitations of Bill and Hillary Clinton, actually. Combination of the two. And I throw in some of my other favorite presidents and some of the ones who might not have been, and some of my favorite preachers. I try to mix it all in together. Preachers and presidents, all the P's, preachers, presidents, popes, priests, papas. Anything else is like I don't want to be associated with. Anything else I can think of with a P. And some of those folks I don't necessarily want to be associated with. But I'm going to tell you, I don't know if we're cutting this short or not, but I think my time is done today. I think I had to say what I had to say. I know that I will have more to say next week. I will make up for the time I lost here. I do want you to understand that if you need to find yourself a parking spot, it's just S.P.lot or wait a minute. I think I'm wrong here. I forgot how to play it. Let's try it like this. Okay. There we go. It's live, brothers and sisters, it's live. All the mistakes are made for a reason, only for you to determine why. But if you forgive me, the likelihood of you getting a parking spot when you want one will happen. Forgiveness is the key. Kindness is the key. And if you adhere to our position on premarital sex, it'll be a key also. Whatever that is, you'll find out next week. And if you want to, I'm going to have a free drawing or something. I'm going to figure it out next week too. We're looking at 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers. We need 100 subscribers. It's just a measly 100. But as soon as we reach 100 subscribers, we're going to give away some prizes. It might be shirts. It's going to be shirts. It might be CDs. It's going to be CDs. It's going to be whatever else I can find in my house that I don't want anymore. We're going to make it a prize, and you can win it as soon as we get 100 subscribers to this YouTube channel. In the meantime, here's what you got to say. Please, Daniel, please, find a parking spot for me. I'm able-bodied, but I have my needs. Now find a parking spot for me. Please, Daniel, please, find a parking spot for me. Oh, baby, I'm begging on bended knees. Gotta find a parking spot for me. St. Daniel, I was your best friend when you were alive. You just didn't know it. It just seemed like I was making fun of you in school. But I really thought you were cool. I was just kind of jealous. And I'm sorry it came out that way, but now I really need a parking spot to do good things for people. Don't believe what they tell you. They're just ungrateful little jerks. I don't think I can cuss in church. I'm not sure. Well, please, Daniel, please, find a parking spot for me. I must have been mean, but I've changed my ways. Now, please, give me a parking spot today. Daniel, please, F. Pilar. Daniel, please, S. Pilar. Hey, Samuel, please, S. Pilar. All right, I think it's over. It'll be a better sermon next time. Keep tuning in, because maybe one day my word will be kept.